Hello, glad to have you here and so excited for Easter break and all the celebrations coming up. In this video, I'm sharing all the goodies going into my toddler's Easter basket, including how I made from scratch a chocolate bunny and lollipops. Just to be sure I got it right, I had to get a taste test and he was pumped about both. With spring here, it's so nice having fresh flowers in my home again. I always try to extend how long my flowers last by throwing out the ones that rot the quickest and rearranging them. I did just plant a very small wildflower garden in my backyard, and I really hope it turns out so that, I don't have to buy these all the time. Each year I just kind of throw the leftovers from the year into the Easter basket and put it up in the attic, of course minus the candy or anything that can rot. So I just take it out and kind of take inventory of what we already have and what I can use this year, and like what eggs or toys are already there. I knew this year that I wanted to make some of the candy that goes in this from scratch and goes into the Easter egg hunt that we always do. Candy was one of the things that really opened my eyes to how bad store-bought food can be for us. So this year I decided that I definitely wanted to make some of those candy items from home. My son loves lollipops, so I of course had to make those. I can get some good versions at the store, but they're really expensive. And it's just good to know how to make things that my kids really love. They actually really turned out the first time. I mean, not the most simple thing, but I'm sure the more I make them, the easier they will get. First, I'll show you how I made the homemade chocolate Easter bunny. You do need a mold. That is like one of the key things you need. Other than that, you can probably use what's already in your kitchen. I found an organic dark chocolate bar. I think it was like 85%. So that's good, so it's not got too much sugar in it. And later I'll kind of sweeten it up for my son with some freeze-dried strawberries, and that way, he's getting some like natural sugars in there. So it's just real easy. You just chop up the chocolate and then throw it into, I just have like a glass bowl over some lightly boiling water and mix in some coconut oil and let that melt. This uses 1 bar of chocolate and 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and it makes 1 really large chocolate bunny and then maybe about 10 smaller other chocolates. I think next time I'll actually make them really small so they're really bite-sized for my son. But I found out that coconut oil quickly changes from a liquid to a solid form depending on the temperature, so it can actually make the chocolate harden faster, and that makes it a good choice for something like this. This did melt a little bit easily in hands, which I don't think there's any way to perfectly avoid that, but next time I think I'll use a thermometer and make sure it gets between 110 to 115 to help out with that. But I am storing it in the refrigerator afterwards, and then it just, my son needs to really eat it quickly. He can't hold it in his hands too long. That's the only downside. I did forget to film me very gracefully pouring this into the molds. Not at all. If you have something with a spout on it to pour, it's going to make this a lot easier. And I did notice with the chocolate bunny, I needed to put something underneath because it's definitely thicker down around the feet than the ear, so it kind of spilled out. So if you do get this mold, which I'll link below, just keep that in mind. That's why this towel is here now underneath the mold. Don't forget this step of adding some sort of freeze-dried fruit. My son loves strawberries, so that's what I use and can get my hands on. It's what makes it pretty sweet, especially for kids, if you're using a high percentage of chocolate in your chocolate bar. I just had to step away there to make sure I was filming, which I so often forget to do. I just kind of, as soon as I poured it in, I added some of this in there and let it kind of sink in and go throughout the chocolate. Then let it set for about 2 hours and added a little bit more on top just to make it pretty. It did need to rest for I let it rest on the counter and start to get hard for I think around 3 to 4 hours. The chocolate bunny definitely took the longest because it's so big. And then I stuck it in the fridge to kind of like finish hardening and hide it from my son. So the next day I had some time and I just took them out of the molds. They pop out really easily, no problem there. And I have these small little plastic bags that I use for so many things, like on Valentine's Day when you have to get these little favors for kids or I've actually found them very useful just to have on hand, and this bunny fit perfectly inside of that. I will say it did get a little bit on the bag, but I had the bunny setting out for quite a while. So take it out of the fridge, put it in the bag, and then put it back in the fridge. When I'm preparing the Easter basket, I'll just take it out of the fridge and put it in there. And I'm not sure how long the ear will last on this, but it's the first thing he will eat, so it's probably okay. I think this turned out so good, so pretty, and I'll definitely be making this. This is actually really easy and a great way to make chocolates for my son. Okay, today I'm going to try out some homemade honey lollipops using honey, sugar, and a little bit of water. I've read that you can do just honey, but it seems a little questionable if they'll turn out, so I want to do the kind with sugar. My son loves lollipops. I think this might be his favorite candy, but a lot of them have dodgy ingredients. I have found better ones, so there are ones that you can buy. They're just really expensive, and I just want something kind of fun to put in his Easter basket. So for this, I bought a thermometer, a candy and deep fry thermometer, because you need to get it to exactly 300 for it to work, right? It says hard crack there, and a lot of lollipop sticks. You can buy these like nice molds on Amazon, but let's see how this turns out first before I invest in that. So you just need 1 cup of sugar and about 1/3 cup of honey. And then you add 2 tablespoons of water to the sugar and honey mixture and put the thermometer in. I noticed that the thermometer wasn't really touching the liquid. Pretty much it's mostly honey at this point because there's not much there. I didn't realize that it would actually kind of foam and gain a lot of volume as you heat it up, so I changed the pot out, but that's totally not necessary. Looking back, I would definitely not use like a plastic to mix this. It gets really hot, and I accidentally left it in the hot pot and kind of melted it. And while that was warming up, I kind of laid out some parchment papers and the lollipop sticks to pour over. This I would have done before because it was actually a little stressful watching that and doing this for the first time. I feel like next time maybe I'll be fine because I know what I'm doing, but this time it was a little bit stressful, and these parchment papers have a fold in the middle, so it made it a little difficult, but you know, it all worked out. This made almost 30 lollipops in the end. It kind of depends on the size that you make them, and mine were not perfectly even, but around 30 I think I counted. So it's just really bubbly, and you can see the liquid's reduced a little bit. Almost looks like it's burning, but we'll see. It's almost at 300. Right when it hits 300, just now, you turn it off the heat, you take it off, you let the bubbles reduce down. You take this handy thing out. And after the bubbles have reduced down, you need to work pretty quickly apparently. This part was a little stressful. The pot kind of got heavy real quick, so if you have a lighter pot with a little spout on it, that'll make it much easier. I did not lay out enough lollipop sticks, so I had to kind of like set the pot aside and lay out more. You know, you're supposed to do it real quick, but I actually found that I had plenty of time, so I was rushing myself unnecessarily. Not all of them turned out beautiful, but my son 100% will not care. You know, it was nice to actually try something new like this that's a little different than normal cooking, and I think next time I'll try to maybe add some like strawberry flavor in there to add, if you know, just make it a little bit different. That's what I like about the from scratch cooking, is you do it a few times and you learn what works for you and things that you could add in or make a little differently. To store and give these away, you could use kind of the same plastic bags that I put the chocolate bunnies in, but I didn't have any of those, so I just cut up some parchment paper and loosely wrapped it around the lollipop, and now my son can kind of get the wrapper off himself, which is nice. I'll just store these in the fridge until I put a few in the Easter basket and just keep some on hand for when we need them. I did give one to my son when he got home just to see if he also likes them. And he had this cute little fist pump, which I'm so happy to see. He I think he really finds it special when I make him something like this. Every time I give him something new like this, he seems really appreciative of it, which is so sweet and really makes it all worth it. I'll show you real quick what I want to put in my 3-year-old's Easter basket. So this is the Easter basket I kind of splurged on and got from Pottery Barn, which I love, so I know he'll be able to use it for a really long time. I love to like do a little Easter egg hunt where his basket is in the morning. Probably when he gets older I'll not do that, but I find it so cute when he wakes up going to find the Easter basket, and this kind of helps lead him in the right direction. In these, like last year, I did like these small little trucks, which he actually loved, and little dinosaurs, which were okay, but maybe the dinosaurs are okay, but I'm a little worried about giving these to him this year with his younger brother eating everything. So I have a few like small knickknacks from last time, and slinkies, which he likes playing with, and a few like tattoos that I'll cut up to put in them. And he's been asking for army men for some reason. I don't know where he saw them. So I found these like really big ones, which I think will be good for younger kids' hands, but I've got to get some large eggs. I ordered them off Amazon to fit them in. So I love to do that instead of too much like candy, just some small things that I'm kind of thoughtful about what I put in them so they're not wasteful, but something that he can enjoy and play with afterwards. So I'll put a few of those in. And then for his actual Easter basket, he loves books. I got him 2 books of The True Meaning of Easter. I love this Jesus Calling, the real one from Sarah Young. It looked pretty good for kids, and another one that was real popular on Amazon. So hopefully he'll like those. And we're starting a garden this year, and he's really loved getting out there with us. And he has some gloves, but they're not the best. So I got him some ones that are a little bit smaller to fit his hands, which I think he'll like. I'll probably wrap that up in a nice little gift. I got him this really cool big shovel. He always wants to shovel like his dad, so he just has a little handheld one that is actually ours, but I think he'll love being able to, he loves stomping his foot on his dad, so I think he'll really enjoy this. It really wasn't too bad for what I feel like the quality is. Yeah, I'll see if it holds up. So that's really it for his basket. Just something special to make him feel thought of in the morning and to make some memories. I have this little one that he uses for his Easter egg hunts because this is way too big to bring around, right? And I think I'll give this to his younger brother. Here are the Easter baskets put together. I think they turned out so good. The only bad thing is the Easter bunny ear did not make it, but I'm sure my son would have bit that off first thing anyway. I can't wait to see their faces on Sunday morning when they find these.